Hello everyone, Mark here, Marx Max Muscle, and this time it really is Marx Max Muscle. We're going to do a comparison featuring me from 2021 and me now. We're going to answer that question, if Marx Max Muscle even lifts. Do you even lift, bro? Well, my finished product back then, I believe I was 145 pounds, soaking wet, so frail. So frail. Of course, natural, guys. But now, my finished product was 158, right on the dot, pounds. Well, it might have been point something, but either way, my I used to bulk up to maybe 165, things of that nature. And that was it. And then I figured, I'll diet down. This time I thought I would push it a little bit further. I went close to 180, we'll say 180. It was like 178, something of that nature. But yes, went a little bit heavier and then dialed down to the 158. So to begin, let's have a little side-by-side video footage, which of course I usually do not show video footage, scared of getting copyright strikes, things of that nature. Definitely a lot bigger now, I can see that. But am I as conditioned? I ultimately do not think I am. Lighting's different. I don't think I'm going to give myself a copyright strike. Well, yeah, I like the way I'm posing better now. And the wheels themselves, I can attest to them being larger in when I measure them, things of that nature. My arms do look maybe more defined back then. But having said that, they are a little bit bigger. Look at the way that I'm posing there. Look. I try to make it too fancy. You just gotta keep it simple. The kiss method. See me opening up the lat spread like 1, 2, 3. Just hit it. See? Looks better. And I add the calf in there. Why not? I use longer tights. A buddy of mine told me to do that. Rob Starr. Peeled. He has a YouTube channel, Shot for Shot. Does comparisons. He's a good dude. Look at the length of my hair back then. Hoo-ha pose. Definitely a tighter midsection. See, I dieted too much, I think. Too far. And look at the wheels. I think the quads are minute in comparison back then. They're a little bit bigger. The way I'm standing, sizing, kind of get a little bit confusing. Switched the... right there. I just bumped it up a little bit. Hamstrings a little bit more separated back then, but the lighting was totally different. I really focused in on that lighting. Had the oil all over me. I didn't even have oil on me. Now I didn't really bother. I figured it is what it is. The lats themselves, the lower lats, they're more dominant, I believe, now. And it's hard to judge your own physique. But I'm judging it against my own, so it's not really like I'm saying if I was better then. There's more separation in my hamstrings, but like I said, I had the lighting right on the ground. I had it covered up with a little piece, so it was just perfect for the wheels. Oh man, I had it good. Didn't want to bother, but you can definitely see my back itself. And yeah, I do have some separation in my hamstrings now. It just doesn't show up as much. The lighting helps. Casts too much shadows, though, I think. Look at me then. See, this is one situation where you try too hard and it looks funny. Even throwing the arm up there this year was just more simple. Look at me. Look. Moving around like I think I'm something else. Something else, all right. Yes. Much tighter midsection. Well, I'm getting older, too. Your midsection, I noticed. It's the first thing. And you guys, 40 plus, you guys can attest to that. The midsection itself. I mean, you can keep it tight. But it's not going to be as small. And it's right around that age. Let me fiddle around with my quad there. And the abs and thigh, not very good. I worked on my display back then, I think more so. I just wanted to get it in. Now, Abs a little bit smooth, so yes, ultimately. I was in a slice better condition then, but I'm over 10 pounds heavier, so like 12, whatever it would be. But if I was just as... Look at that. See, I'm going ahead too far. Back then, it made my wheels look small. Yeah. So yeah, if I dieted down to get as conditioned, I think I'd be like 152 or 3 or something of that nature. But yeah, if you do an actual side by side, you can tell. It's obvious, guys. Not bragging, but I mean, hey, it's been 3 years. So if I had not put on any muscle, wouldn't that mean I was just sitting still? And evidently, I am here to answer that question. Does he even lift? And yeah, I think absolutely. Am I lifting that hard? Am I taking any gear? Absolutely not. I lift, I would say, moderate. We'll go through these shots. I lift moderate. And yes, I have seen it all. I've seen Dorian Yates's training videos, Ronnie Coleman, popping a capillary or two, busting them reps out, those 2 reps, you could have did a few more. So no, of course I don't train as hard as these top pros. But just for an average gym bro, yeah, I mean, I do okay. Lats are a little bit bigger now. Arms more defined, or is it the lighting? Now, one thing I do take a little bit of pride in, here's the front lat spread, and the execution much better. I think my posing was a little bit improved. But one thing I do take a little bit of pride in, because they were oh so small, is my calves. I have put on a little bit of size on those babies. And if you're obsessed over it, get the measuring tape out, measure them up, and then keep that in mind. Keep a log book, if you will. Do your calves every day. And if you miss a day, if they're sore, if they're really sore, well, I guess you can get away with not training them. But all the shots, side shots in particular, really show calf development. And when you have weak calves, hurts the physique. Now, one thing I'll say about 2021, I look funny. I look like one of them gallimimas, whatever those dinosaurs. They look, they're sticking their chest out and little tiny legs. It looks hilarious too. Big long ponytail. You can see I kind of got that under wraps a little bit. His chest is sticking out there. It's just hilarious. I don't know if I look any more impressive now, but my wheels are bigger. My wheels are better. Let's have a look at the back. And this was I believe, a situation where my lats are, they're filled out a little bit more. The lower lat insertions. No, I'm not Kai Green. I'm not Phil Heath. But what the heck? I have shown a little bit of improvement. Kind of wish I had spent the time on the lighting. What I did was I tilted a couple of light bulbs, or what do they call them? Lamps. Lamps. Here's the back lat spread. Oh, yes, I have definitely widened that up. Tilted the lamps right on their side, and then I covered them up. I covered them up with a little board so they didn't shine up just a little bit, just enough to cast the light on the wheels themselves. So for those of you looking to advance in your Marx Max Invitational placings, do that. It would probably be worth it. But clearly, the better physique is now with the lats. Things of that nature. And here's the... Look at that side tricep. My arm itself, it has got a little bit bigger, I think, now. Depending on the pose you see, but it has, and size-wise. And the wheels themselves, most certainly. The quad, in particular, much bigger, much more improved. Midsection back then, looks like I hadn't eaten in months. Months. Doesn't even really look like I lift. Did I lift then? Here's the abs and the high. Well, that would be a more suitable question. Did he lift? Well, the truth is, yes. Yes, I did. Did I diet too much back then? I believe yes. In fact, I did. But that was really less of it. I think I just started to diet too soon. Definitely should have not bulked up. Oh, here's a most muscular. Definitely not called bulk up, but I definitely should have threw my weight up a little bit higher than, say, 165 before I decided to diet down. But having said that, I mean, how much further are you going to go with it? Like this year, for instance. I figured I would diet down just a little bit. Just a little bit. Now, if I had went further with it, I could have chased that same type of condition that I had and probably ultimately would have showed up with a little bit more size. But what the heck? I figured, I'm not competing. Just a little exhibition. And I think that I have shown that I have put on a little bit of mass, a little bit of size. But ultimately, I think my posing itself has improved. Makes me laugh. Just looking at the way I was posing back then. Look at this. This is a hilarious display. Looks like a spider. You hit it the wrong way. Wheels in the background. A little tiny. I'm leaning forward. Way too forward. Showing that head. My head looks the biggest thing here. And what a bad look on my face. Speaking of which, it's the most muscular. You don't have to look like you're handing out flowers, but what the heck? See, nowadays I try to throw my head back. I look like I'm grimacing, but I'm not squeezing too hard. Enough. You don't have to squeeze too hard. Don't flex too hard. No, that sounds foolish, but I believe that my posing is probably as improved as my wheels and perhaps my back, things of that nature. But come on. I have nothing but time to do videos, eat protein, and to lift weights and train. So of course I showed a little bit of improvement. And I'm sure each and every one of you fellers and fellacines have shown just as much or more improvement each and every time you go to that gym. So if somebody looks at you and says, "Do you even lift, bro?" You can look at them and say, "Oh, come follow me at the gym and watch me lift. Then you'll know that I do lift." Anyway, hit thumbs up on the video. Just a little insider of the physique. Putting it out there. I think that for me showing this little physique, the biggest muscle I got, my cojones.
Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.